Here's something nobody wants to hear. All those productivity tools you're investing millions in, the AI implementations, the efficiency software, the performance dashboards, they're not going to save you. Not because the technology is bad, but because you're using it to optimize a broken system. Right now, companies are spending billions trying to automate their way to productivity. And here's what's actually happening. Nearly half of organizations have lost half of their leadership teams last year because 56% of leaders are burned out. Your best people are walking out the door. High performers are mentally checked out. And future leaders, they're watching what this job does to you and they're saying, hell no. So you're spending more and you're getting less. You know why? Because you can't software your way out of a human problem. We build business models designed to extract value from humans until they break. And then we throw technology at it and act surprised when productivity still tanks. So today, I'm going to show you what's actually missing and the counterintuitive solution that has nothing to do with your tech stack and everything to do with how humans actually work. I know what this crisis looks like from the inside because I lived it. I spent 15 years in finance. I built what looked like success by every external measure, bank account growing, climbing the ladder, all the markers that said, you made it. Then one morning I woke up with an elephant on my chest, couldn't breathe, couldn't move. And the thought that went through my head was, I don't want to do this anymore. Not life, just this version of it. The one that was slowly suffocating me. What I realized, it wasn't the work that was killing me. It was the system. The one that said your value is your output, your worth is your hours, your dedication is measured by how much you sacrifice. And I bought into it completely until my body said, not anymore. So I had a choice, keep defending a system that was breaking me or build something different. And I chose something different. And that's what we're building today. Here's what's happening right now in organizations everywhere. Your people aren't choosing to disengage. They're unraveling mentally, emotionally, while still showing up every day. Researchers call it quiet cracking. More than half of employees, 54%, are dealing with it. They're physically at their desks, but psychologically, they're done. And it's costing companies 438 billion globally in lost productivity. And here's the part that breaks my heart. These aren't bad people. They're talented, dedicated professionals who are drowning. And they don't even know how to ask for help because asking for help comes with the fear of being let go. And their leaders also drowning. But leaders aren't allowed to say that out loud. So they push harder, make faster decisions, show up stronger, all while their prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for strategic thinking, is basically offline. And you can't make good decisions from chronic stress. It's biologically impossible. When you're in fight or flight, you're operating from survival, not strategy. And when your leaders are in survival mode, your whole organization follows. Teams absorb that energy. They become reactive, defensive, exhausted. So here's my question. If your systems are burning people out at the top and the bottom, if your best people are leaving and your remaining people are barely hanging on, if you're spending billions trying to fix productivity while the real problem is human capacity, why are we still defending these systems? Because this is how it's always been done. Because the system feels too big, too entrenched, too massive to change. So we cling to it like our life raft because it's all that we know. But watching your best people walk out the door, losing half your leadership team, building your business that requires people to sacrifice their health, their relationships, their lives just to keep the machine running, that's not a solution. That's doubling down when the game has already been lost. So what's the solution? Stop treating humans like machine. I know, revolutionary, right? But here's what this means. It means asking different questions, not how do we get more output from our people, but how do we create conditions where people do their best work from passion, not pressure? Not asking how do we hold people accountable, but how do we build systems where people want to show up fully because they feel fueled, not depleted? Not asking how do we fix engagement, but how do we connect people to purpose so deeply that engagement isn't even a question? And here's the wild part. When you do this, when you actually build for humans instead of machines, your performance goes up, retention goes up, innovation goes up. Not because people are working more hours, but because they're working from their zone of genius instead of their survival response. That's strategic execution. Now, a few years ago, I was working with a senior portfolio manager managing an 8-figure book of business. And we were about to do something that makes most financial advisors break out into a cold sweat. We were leaving the firm, transitioning the entire book to a new platform. And if you know anything about finance, you know that's high stakes. The industry average, advisors lose 19% of their client assets when they switch firms. 1 in 5 clients walk away. But listen, we'd been building something long before we ever made the decision to transition. We had systems in place, not just any systems, systems built on values, systems designed around exceptional customer service, systems that created loyalty and generated referrals because clients felt seen, heard, and taken care of. We had organized our CRM system so nothing fell through the cracks. We had clear standard operating procedures so the team knew exactly what to do and when. We had workflows that kept operations running smoothly so he could focus on growth and asset management and client got consistent, exceptional service. So when we told our clients that we were transitioning to a new firm, my heart was racing. I mean, my livelihood was on the line because I knew what the stats said. 1 in 5 clients walk. And if they walked, that was millions in assets, years of relationships gone. So what happened? They didn't blink. They didn't question whether they should stay or go. They just asked, where do I sign? And within days, clients were signed up. Within weeks, the entire transition was complete. And the result? We retained the entire 8-figure book of business. Every client that we valued, every relationship that mattered. In an industry where advisors lose 1 in 5 clients during a transition, we didn't lose a single high-value relationship. What made that possible? It wasn't the transition plan that saved us. It was the years of strategic execution we put in place before we ever needed it. The systems weren't just about efficiency. They were about values, about showing up with heart and consistency every single day, about building trust so deep that when we said we're moving, clients didn't question our judgment. They followed us. Soul without strategy is chaos. Strategy without soul is tyranny. But when you bring them together, you build something so solid that even in a high stakes transition, your clients don't waver. You create systems that honor relationships, protect what matters, and allows everyone to perform at their best from passion, not pressure. Now that's strategic execution, and that's what we're talking about today. Okay, here's what I want you to do right now. Not later, not when you have time, right now. Pull out your phone, open your notes app, and answer these 3 questions honestly. All right, first, am I leading from overflow or pressure? Write the first word that comes to mind. Second, what's my real retention number? How many top performers left in the last 12 months? Third, are my systems designed for extraction or reciprocity? Do they fuel people or drain them? Now, those three simple answers will tell you everything that you need to know about where you're headed. And if you don't like what you see, that's not failure, that's data. Now you know what needs to change. If you're thinking, okay, Nick, I get it, but how do I actually build this? That's exactly what we do in You and Your Soul-Led Business. We build all four pillars: values, intuition, energy, strategic execution, so that you can have systems that honor the human and scale the business. And whether you prefer a group program or one-on-one private coaching, you've got some options. I'll leave the details in the show notes below. But first, let me tell you who this is actually for. Here's what I know after 13 years of working with professionals. The leaders who win in this next era won't be the ones who push hardest. They'll be the ones who build the smartest. And building smart means creating systems that honor the human in the business. Systems that protect energy, that leverage intuition, that allow people to show up as their best selves, not as their depleted selves. And that's what we build in the You and Your Soul-Led Business program. We work through all four of those pillars: values, so that you know exactly what you stand for and what you won't tolerate; intuition, so that you can make confident decisions without second guessing yourself into paralysis; energy, so that you're building from overflow, not running on fumes; and strategic execution, so that you have systems that work even when you're not in the room. And right now you have two ways to work with me. So option one is the full You and Your Soul-Led Business program, where we build all four pillars together with group coaching, implementation support, and the whole framework. My next cohort starts soon, so check that out. Or if you want option two, one-to-one coaching, if you want private high-touch support where we custom build your business model, that's the way to go. This is for leaders who see the cracks in the old system, who are ready to build something that lasts. It's for people who refuse to choose between success and soul, and who are ready to prove that you can have both. And if that's you, reach out and let's build this together. Listen, the future of leadership isn't about working harder, it's about working wiser. It's about creating systems where humans can be human and still perform at their peak, where purpose fuels performance, where people want to show up, where your best talent stays because they're energized, not drained. And I know some of you are thinking, Anik, that sounds nice, but I have real business problems. I have budgets, deadlines, boards to answer to. I know. I spent 15 years on Wall Street. I get it. But what I also know is that burnout is extremely expensive. Turnover is costly. Disengagement is draining billions of dollars from our economy. And the old playbook is just not working anymore. So we can keep defending a system that's breaking your people, or you can build something that lasts. Because the world needs leaders brave enough to build something different. Leaders who know that sustainable success isn't going to come from the old model of business. It's built on systems that honor the human in the business. So my last question to you is, are you going to keep defending a system that's breaking? Or are you ready to build something that lasts? Until then, trust your intuition, take aligned action, and keep leading with soul.